Universal Studios, Scene 1 with Mrs. B. Hello, boys and girls around the world. And yes, my name is Mrs. B, and I'm a teacher in the United States. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today for a very special read aloud. But before we begin, I have a hello song just for you. Hello, boys and girls around the world. Hello, boys and girls around the world. How are you? How are you? I'm glad you're here to read and learn. We know we'll have some fun today. We love school every day, and so will you. Yes, Mrs. B has a terrible singing voice, but I so wanted to share a song with all of you. Boys and girls, the book that I've chosen today is called My Dad is Big and Strong, but this book was written by Coralie Saudo. She is the author that wrote this book. And the person that drew the beautiful pictures in this book is called an illustrator. And that person's name is Chris Di Giacomo. Again, that is Chris Di Giacomo. Boys and girls, this is called the front or the cover of the book. And if we turn this book over, this is called the back of the book. Now let's turn back over to the front. Looking at the title, boys and girls, and the cover, the picture, what do you think that this story is going to be about? Yes, there's a little boy, and this is his dad. And boys and girls, this is a bedtime story, and you think it's about putting the little boy to sleep? It's something totally absurd. Dad won't go to sleep. How funny is that? So we're going to see exactly what happens. This could be a funny book. But before we begin, I want to go over some punctuation marks that you'll see not only in this book, but other books that you're going to read and you probably have already seen. Boys and girls, this is a period. And this means to stop. But Mrs. B likes to say pause, because when boys and girls are reading, they just stop and they don't know when to continue reading. So Mrs. B says, pause for a second and then move on to the next sentence. The next one is a comma, and a comma does mean to pause, and it brings two or more thoughts together within a sentence. And then also you can use a comma when you're making a list of things. Here is an exclamation mark. We call it an excited mark when you're very, very young in age. So it's okay to call an excited mark instead of an exclamation mark. And we use this at the end of a sentence when we show great emotion, or we put it at the end of the sentence when we're giving a command like sit down or get out. This is a question mark. You put this at the end of a sentence when you are asking something. That means someone or some people will respond to you by answering your question. And the last mark that I have for you is called quotation marks. You have a pair, which is two, in the beginning and then you have a pair at the end. When somebody starts talking or saying something in a sentence, you put the beginning quotation marks. When they stop talking, you put the end quotation marks. And the end quotation marks go after your punctuation mark. And boys and girls, I want all eyes and ears on Mrs. B because I will be asking you questions throughout the story. Now you have to remember that reading means understanding the author's message in this story and other books. It's just not calling out words, because if you cannot answer comprehension questions after reading a page, you're not really truly reading anything, boys and girls. It's for nothing. You're gaining nothing out of it. So please pay attention, and at the end, I have an activity that you can do with your family at home. So are you ready to begin? This is the inside cover. My dad is big and strong, but... And this is a bedtime story. Boys and girls, when I read, do I read and do you read left to right, or do you read right to left? We read left to right, and then we go to the next sentence and read left to right, left to right. Good job, boys and girls. My dad is big and strong, but every night it's the same old story, and this is how it begins. I don't want to go to bed. Who is saying that, boys and girls? The little boy or his dad? His dad is saying this. I don't want to go to bed. So boys and girls, we're getting a different outlook on how it is when we act, when we were little, or when you're little now, and you tell your parents, I don't want to go to bed. See how it is? You get a different perspective when you're reading this story, because this is an adult. This is the dad saying this. And boys and girls, what mark is this period? What punctuation mark? A period. You were paying attention. I like that. At first, I tried to be nice. Dad, I say, it's already quite late. You need to go to sleep now in order to be in good shape for tomorrow. But often it's right at that moment that things get complicated. Dad is not following rules. He doesn't want to go to bed, boys and girls. No, 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 I won't go to sleep, yells Dad as he runs around the house. He's acting like a child, boys and girls. Oh, wow. Look at that. He's upside down. And what is this punctuation mark, boys and girls? It's a comma. Good job. So I try a little firmness. I'm going to be a little bit more strict. All right, Dad, but I'm not going to run after you. It's not time for games. Come sit here with me and I'll read you a story. Now he's hanging from the chandelier. Oh no. Boys and girls, let's make a prediction in this story. Prediction is when you guess what's going to happen next based on what you already read. So do you think the father is eventually going to go to sleep? Or you think he's not going to listen or go to sleep? Let's find out. The story trick works every time. Dad comes right over and sits on my lap. He's a bit eerie, but I'm big and strong too. Off to bed with you. Looks funny, Dad's sitting in his child's lap. And then we have a dog here in the background. He's probably confused. Like, Then Daddy holds me tight and begs with all his might for, oh, one more story, please. Just one more. And when he looks at me with those pleading puppy dog eyes, I give in every time and read him another story. When that one is done, Daddy always asks me for just one more. But enough is enough. Dad, I say, we said one story and we've already read two. That's enough for tonight. Now go off to bed. I am going to tuck you in. Boys and girls, what is this punctuation mark? An excited mark. Good job. Or exclamation mark. As Daddy slides under the covers, he looks as though he's about to cry. And then I tell myself, hang on, we're almost there, because a dad who doesn't want to go to sleep is exhausting. Boys and girls, what is the color of the dad's hat? Brown. Good job, boys and girls. Should he be wearing a hat to bed, though? No, we should not wear a hat to bed. I would love to climb into my own bed and go to sleep, but if I head to my bedroom now, Daddy will come after me and sweetly ask, son, can I sleep in here with you? How many times, boys and girls, well, when Mrs. B was young, I always asked Mom and Dad if I could sleep with them in their bed. I didn't want to sleep in mine. Have you ever asked your Mom and Dad to sleep with them? I'm sure you have, boys and girls. But the dad is asking to sleep with his son. Oh, how funny is that? And then putting him to bed again will be mission impossible. So he needs to fall asleep in his own room, boys and girls. This is just getting to be too much work for the little boy. So imagine what your parents have to go through, or grandparents putting you to bed. Good night, dear Dad. Give me a big kiss. Sweet dreams. Sleep tight. Good night, says Dad in a small, faraway voice. And the little boy is giving him what? A teddy bear. But as soon as I stand on tippy toes to turn off the light, I hear, no, don't do that. Leave the lights on. Wow, is he afraid of the dark, boys and girls? And what are these marks around somebody saying something or talking? Quotation marks. My dad is big and strong. but he's afraid of the dark, boys and girls. And so I leave on the lamp outside his room until he falls asleep. The end. Boys and girls, what did you think of the story, My Dad is Big and Strong, But? If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you did not like the story, boys and girls, give it a thumbs down. I gave it a thumbs up too. I really enjoyed sharing this book with all of you. Boys and girls, for your activity at home, you know, Father's Day comes only once in a year, and I thought it would be nice if you either went to the library, your local public library, or you bought this book home with you and purchased it so you can see it every single day and you can read it every day with your father. And I have a list of 10 books. They are books they have fathers in them. Are you ready? Get ready to write it down. Mom, dad, grandparents, brother, sister. Number 1 is called Mr. Seahorse. The author is Eric Carle. Number 2, This is the Van That Dad Cleaned. This is the van that Dad cleaned. The author is Lisa Campbell Ernst, E-R-N-S-T. Number 3, Daddy and I. The author is Eloise Greenfield. Number 4, Daddy Hugs. 1, 2, 3 by Karen Katz. Number 5, The 10 Best Things About My Dad. Again, The 10 Best Things About My Dad. The author is Christine Lomas. Number 6, Dad's Bald Head. The author is Paul Many, M-A-N-Y. Number 7, Daddy's Song. The author is Leslie Newman, N-E-W-M-A-N. Number 8 is Molly and Her Dad. And the author is Jane Ormerod. O-R-M-E-R-O-D. Number 9, My Daddy. The author is Susan Paradis. P-A-R-A-D-I-S. And the last one, number 10, is Me and My Dad by Allison Ritchie, R-I-T-C-H-I-E. Thank you, boys and girls, for joining Mrs. B today. I have one last special treat for you. Somebody is visiting Mrs. B here in her home. This is my office and my mini classroom. And I wonder who the special guest could be. It's Winnie the Pooh. Oh, Winnie the Pooh. Thank you for joining Mrs. B and all the boys and girls around the world. Would you like to say goodbye to all of them with Mrs. B? Okay. Boys and girls, reading is fundamental. And I want to thank you for joining Winnie the Pooh and I today. And bye for now. Hope to see you again soon.